Hello everyone, today we continue learning Python and today I'll show you what is XSS and how we can use it to hack our websites. So let's start. But before we start that video, I recommend you subscribing to my Telegram channel. You will find lots of materials, modules, libraries, examples and tasks on Python in my Telegram channel. Also, I post all the announcements there, so if you want to understand what will happen to the channel in the near future, you can go here. And I respond to comments much faster than I do it on YouTube. So subscribe to my Telegram channel, link in the description down below. Well, first of all, what is XSS? So XSS is cross-site scripting. And yeah, the word cross starts with C, but if we'll name it CSS, it won't work because we have cascade style sheets. So XSS, cross-site scripting. What are these attacks? First of all, these are attacks, so that is hacking, and you can get in trouble for doing that. But how we can do that hacking and what it actually does? So first of all, I have a server.py right here, and by the way, XSS works on every web server, in every browser, and so on, not only in Python. So I have very low web server. I import URL lib parse and I import HTTP. These libraries are pre-installed, so you can copy that code and follow along if you want. HTTP.server, from that module I import HTTP server class and simple HTTP request handler. So HTTP server is very low level server. It does not have any checks, any security and so on. And because of that, I can make XSS attacks on that server. So what I am doing right here, I created a request handler, and that class will act as our server. So whenever we make a GET request, and by the way, you need to know what are HTTP verbs, what is HTTP, what is web server, what is frontend, what is backend, to follow or to understand that video. Okay, so we have a request handler, which inherits from simple HTTP request handler, and that class helps us to handle our requests. So whenever we make GET request, we go to doGET function. Whenever we make POST request, we go to doPost function. That's pretty easy. Okay, and what are we doing right here? In doGET function, we just send the response to 100, so we say that everything is alright. We end our headers, we kind of send the headers, and then only after the headers we write our body. So in our case, body is body, and we have comments, semicolon. We split them by using br tag, so if we don't use br tag, our comments are just in one straight line, but br tag helps us to split them in different rows. Okay, so we use br tag to join self comments, and self comments is a list of our comments that our users can post. Then we close our body and we encode it in UTF-8, because we only can write bytes. That's how low the server is, so we can't even write strings in our bodies. Okay, so again, in GET request we just write raw comments, and actually that's it. So we write the comments that our user wrote on that post, on that video, or whatever. And what are we doing in post? In post, or doPost function, we get the parameters from the URL, and by the way, that is not the best approach, because typically you want to send your data in body, encoded to JSON and so on, but I'll just use parameters because it's just for you to understand how XSS works and what we can do with it. So we use our parameters, we parse our parameters with URL lib. It's a low-level library too, because I have never used it before until that moment. So we parse our parameters. So for example, if I use website.com, then for example text equals hello, then text hello will be in my parameters list. And after that, what I'm doing right here, I append self comments append, let's remove that. I append a string of parameters from text from 0. So what am I doing right here? I parse my parameters which come from the request, and as you can see here, text equals hello. After I have parsed my parameters, I append a string to the comments. And what is that? The string is parameters from text from 0. So that means that I append hello. And for example, if our user will write hello, we'll append hello. If our user will write goodbye, we'll append goodbye to our comments. That's how easy it is. Okay, let's remove that, and let's actually remove string. f string because I don't want to show comments anymore. Okay, I don't want to show that like comment prefix. I just want to show like the real text that I received in my comments. Then again, I send 200 status code, I end my headers, and I write OK to the user, so the user will understand that everything is okay. As you can see, I don't even do any redirects right here because again, that's just for the test. That's not the video for you on how to write your web servers and so on. Okay, then I create my HTTPD server and let's make main. So if only I run that program, again I have talked about if name equals main, if only I run that program, my HTTP server is running. But if I import that file server.py in another package, I will not run my server. Okay, so HTTP server, I run it on a localhost and port 5001, and I use a request handler. So again, we'll use a request. All of the requests will be handled by these two functions or by that request handler. And then we just start our server, so we serve forever. Now let's run our server in PyCharm and let's test it. So again, that's just a simple server. Let's go to 5001 like that. And by the way, that server is really slow. I don't know, Django is faster, Flask is faster. I don't know actually why. Maybe something blocking it, or I don't know, maybe it's because I'm recording a video, but I have recorded with Django and everything was alright. So yeah, as you can see, I'm still loading my page. Let's restart it. Let's make another request. Okay, so now as you can see, we have comments and we have nothing in here. Why? Because our comments list is empty by default. But what we can do? We can append comments by using post request. And I do not have any forms in here. I don't want to handle any forms because it would be a disaster. I will use Postman. So Postman, it's a tool that helps, or a program that helps you to make any requests. So as you can see, you can find almost any HTTP verb in here. You can use almost any language like form data. You can use form data, you can use raw, you can upload files with binary, you can use even GraphQL, XML, everything is in here. But I'll make a post request on my website. So localhost 5001 and then slash, and what do I need to do? I need to go to my blockchain test or to my server and write text in my URL. So when I write text in my URL, like that, text equals, for example, hello, let's send it. What will happen? We'll see, again, as you can see, it's very slow. Actually, why is it like that? Maybe I wrote something, I don't know actually. Okay, so I'm making my request. Maybe it's because the postman is in another country and it kind of acts as a proxy, but I don't know actually. Okay, so let's rerun our server. Yeah, as you can see, it's very slow. Okay, only now, 15 seconds. Oh my god, we receive okay. So that means that our comment is in here. As you can see, comments hello. Let's run another comment. Hello, for example, comment 2. Let's send it. And okay, as you can see, hello and comment 2. We have our comments in our HTML body and everything is alright. So yeah, we can write our comments, but there is one problem. In HTML, if you don't know anything about HTML, CSS, JS and so on, in HTML we have tags. And these tags show you what you can do with your page. So for example, BR tag, as you can see, splits our comments in different lines. If I would delete it, we have comments in one straight line. But what if I write style tag? So let me show you style, then again style. Style tag acts as any CSS code, so we can add any color, actually anything. And let's use wildcard. So that means that we use that style on every element in our page. And let's use transform, rotate degrees. Okay, so what we're doing right here, I am saying use that style and for every element rotate it for 270 degrees, 270 degrees. And then when I will click anywhere, let's click, and as you can see, we apply our styles and everything is alright. As you can see, our comments are in the bottom. I can go right here. these are our comments. But the problem is, if I will, let me copy it for a second, if I will restart my server or if I will refresh my page, what will happen is, yeah, my server will stop again. Why is it happening? I really don't know. Okay, let's run it again. As you can see, hello and comment hello. So why is that happening? Because all the information that we need to show in our browser comes from our doGet function, comes from our server. And our server does not have that style tag inside of it. But what does it has that we can change? We can change comments. And what if I'll write not a normal comment, but I'll write a style tag? Let's send it again. Okay, and now when I refresh, oh, I found the error in my code. So when I sent that style, what I did here is I put semicolon. And in HTML, semicolon means that everything should stop, like right now. And because of that, I cannot display like the last bracket. But okay, let's try to send our comment now with style tag inside of it. Let's create a new request, post request, and let's create some normal comments. So hello, hello, comment 2, for example. Okay, like that. So now we have some normal comments and one style comment. What will happen when I refresh my page? Let's refresh it. And as you can see, what happens is I have 2 comments out of 3. So I have style, beer, hello, beer, and my comment 2, beer. But what really happens? Instead of just showing the comments, my browser decides that, okay, I have style right here, style, transform, rotate degrees. Why can't I show that style? Because the server sent that style inside of the body. If the server sends something, that means that that information is valid. And because the style tag is valid right now, I can just apply these styles to my page. And because of that, what happens is that I can see that my comments or my style sheets are broken right now. And that is a serious problem. Why? Because if you have that problem, any user can change the style of the page. Like imagine you go on your home page and everything is messed up. Or you have some serious problems that we will talk about later. So again, that is the moment where you stop. Because you should first of all, if it's your website, you should fix that, and I'll show you in a minute on how to do that. But if it's somebody else's website, you can get in trouble because that's hacking. Well, actually, style is not that bad because it just changes the style. But as a hacker, we can make something that will be invisible, but will cause a lot of problems. So again, let's restart our server. Let's make some normal comments. So the server is restarted, comment 2, comment 3. Okay, so now everything is alright. Yes? Let's reload it, or refresh it. Why is it so slow? Let's refresh it again. Okay, as you can see, we have 2 comments and everything's alright with our styles. So nothing is messed up. Okay, but what if instead of sending the style, I sent some code? And in browsers, in front end, we use JavaScript. So script. What if I send some JavaScript? For example, alert, I don't know, hello. Alert, it's just a box that pops up in your browser. Let's send it right now. Okay. And when I refresh it, boom, I have hello right here. By the way, can you see it? Yes, you can. I have hello right here. And why is that a problem? That is the problem because I can run any code that I can on that website, that I want on that website. So what I have here, comments, and then script. Again, browser, there is no problem in my browser because browser thinks that that is valid JavaScript code. What if I want to make like a dynamic website with my own JavaScript? Browser does not run any checks because that's just what the server sends. But the problem is that we can inject anything that we want inside of that browser. So now I'll show you how to steal cookies. That is like the most the easiest way, but it won't work on 99% of websites, because 99% of websites, of web resources already have protection from XSS attacks. So I have token hack in here. It's a similar server, so it uses request handler, but in do-get, what are we doing? We use send response, we send handler access control allow origin to wildcard, we end our headers, and we again parse the parameters and we print our data. So I'll explain what is access control allow origin in a moment, but now let's just head to our browser and let's make an XHR request. So what is XHR request or AJAX request? That is the request that does not require your browser to restart or to refresh your page. So for example, when I press F5, I make get request, but that request is not AJAX one because I refresh my page. Yeah, that's how it works. But in modern web applications, it's not very convenient to refresh the page every time you want to make a request. For example, what if you want to gather analytics? What if you want to send a message to a friend? For example, you're using some web messenger, WhatsApp, Telegram, and so on. If you want to send a message, you need to refresh your browser window every time you send a message. And that is not very convenient for us as users. But the problem is that anyone can send this XHR request, and browser can send them as well. So new XML HTTP request, by the way, that is JavaScript. So that is JavaScript, the language of frontend that every browser knows, every browser uses. And now what I'm doing, I say create a variable, just like in Python XHR equals, but in JavaScript we need to use let, var, or const. So const, it's a constant. Let and var are pretty similar, but the only difference is that var acts as a global variable, but let has its own visibility rules. Okay, so let XHR equals new XML HTTP request. So I just create new XML HTTP request. Okay, then I use XHR dot open, and I need to pass some things. First of all, I need to pass the method get. So I want to make get request on, for example, https://google.com. And what do I need to, will it be asynchronous or not? Let's make it asynchronous. So now, what do we have here? We open an XHR request using get method, and we send that request to google.com. And it's a synchronous one. If it's not a synchronous request, we're deprecated. So yeah, everybody uses async as true. Okay, let's open it and let's send it. So xhr.send. Let's send it, and as you can see, we have a problem. We have an error. What it says? XML from origin has been blocked by course policy. So course, it's another security rule for XHR requests. So in very short, you cannot send AJAX requests to different domains. But if you want to, you need to go to the backend. So in our case, we need to go to google.com and tweak the XHR course policy. And that is why I sent access control allow origin as wildcard right here. That means that I allow you to send AJAX requests to my server, to my token hack server. By the way, that is not the server of our application. For example, if we are a business, server.py is the website of our business, but token hack is the server or the program of a hacker. And in our case, we access control our origin. We accept anything, we end our headers, and we end our headers, we parse the parameters, and we print the parameters. And actually, you can do whatever you want. You can save them to database, you can do anything. And by the way, in most cases, XSS attacks are saved to the database because nobody will store comments in like Python list. Okay, so now we run our token hack website on 5000 on localhost 5000. It can be any address, actually any address on the internet. But what is the problem? The problem is that that token hack accepts all the XHR requests. So if I will create a new XHR request, let's open it. So let's open our XHR request using HTTP because it's localhost, and port 5000. Let's open it and let's send it. Send. And as you can see, everything is alright. So XHR finished loading. That means that our request was successful. Well, in our case, we have an exception on our token hack, but it does not matter. Why? Because I can, first of all, I can just write get here if you know Python, but it doesn't matter, because what really matters is that we can give or we can send XHR requests from our website, from normal business website to token hack website. And what we can do, we can assemble all the code we wrote here. So let's copy XHR open, let's paste it right here, and xhr.send. We can remove all the semicolons because in JavaScript they are optional, and as I said, semicolon in HTTP request, in HTTP parameter, by the way, I'm not sure in that, that's just how it works. That's just how it worked in all of my programs. Semicolon in HTTP parameter, it means that you should stop. And because of that, I cannot put semicolons in here. But if I remove all of them, I can still make a normal request. Let's copy that. Let's again restart our server because we keep getting errors in here. And again, that's not the ideal server. You probably want to use Flask. So let's copy that code and let's go to Postman. And let's put that code inside of the text. And by the way, again, you can put semicolons in JavaScript code if you're using XSS attacks, because what you probably will face is that your API will accept will accept your request, will accept anything in body, like in form data or in just JSON, and because of that you can put like the normal JavaScript code. But since I'm using like that approach in like the request itself, it's not very great. Okay, so let XHR be new XML request and let's send it right now. So what will happen when I refresh my page? Let's clear our console. What will happen when I refresh my page with that comment, with that JavaScript comment? Let's run it. And, okay, we need to wait another minute. And after that, what we'll see in our console is, let's run it again. Okay, what we'll see in our console is an error. Okay, what is that error? Comments let XHR request. Oh yeah, I forgot to put scripts, like script, because again, until we have tags, it's just normal text. And yeah, okay, so now everything works. And when I refresh my server, let's refresh it again, what will happen is, as you can see, every time I refresh my server, I make XHR request to hacker's server, because when we go to elements, when we refresh our server, when we go to elements in script, I will see like the normal script that will run every time I refresh my page. And that's where the XSS attacks get bad, because what I can do is I can like send almost anything from that browser to my server, to my hacker server. So for example, if you have local storage, and you store for example, GVT tokens, so your authentication tokens, you store your sensitive data, you store your credit card information, for example, in your document cookie. Or as you can see, document cookie, CSRF token. Well, it's not that bad, but you can use it in some way. So CSRF, no, maybe you will not use it, okay. So you have document cookie, you have almost anything that you can use. And you have actually anything, because that's JavaScript, and JavaScript needs to store some serious information like authentication tokens, refresh tokens, user information, credit cards, to just work with the backend. You maybe will not find any credit cards in here, but there is a probability that you can inject a script that will get your credit card information to the JavaScript. But no, I think that normal APIs don't have that weakness, but there are a lot of possibilities of what you can do with XSS attacks. And in our case, what I want to do is send document cookie. So document cookie, these are just cookies of our application. They stand for various information, and for example, we have session ID in here, maybe that's from my Django, and we have CSRF token, that's definitely from my Django application. Also we have session storage, local storage, and we can access all of the things from our script, from our JavaScript. Well, actually, we cannot access HTTP only cookies, but I'll talk about that later in the next video. So document cookie, let's run it, and as you can see, we have our document cookies. And what I can do in my XHR request is put, because I am a hacker, I know how my server works, I know that I need to put data parameter in here. Let's go to postman. Let's put that, or let's put data equals document dot cookie. And by the way, in JS we don't have f strings like we do in Python. We need to put these special signs just to make a variable insertion inside of a string, because if I just put equals document cookie, that's just a valid JavaScript or that's just a valid string, and I will receive like HTTP localhost data equals document cookie without any information inside of that variable. But if I want to put like the value of the variable, I need to put $sign and then curly braces like that. Let's run it again, and everything is okay. And when I refresh my page, now I make not one but two requests. As you can see, XHR has already been declared. Oh yeah, because I have XHR in here, so let's rename it with XHR2 for example. Or let's just actually restart the server, because we'll have some problems with it. But if you're a hacker, you can just change the name, or you should be very cautious of what you are doing, because again, that's a hack. But if you want to use XHR, you can just remove that let from here and like make the different value for the variable. Okay, let's run it again. Now we don't have any comments in here, I think. Let's run it. Yeah, there are no comments, but let's send our XSS attack. Let's run it. And as you can see now, XSS finished, and we use get with the data of our cookies. And if we send any authentication tokens or any sensitive data, as you can see, that data is on the server of our hacker. That's kind of how it works. So yeah, that's our XSS attack. There are lots of possibilities. For example, we can use local storage. So if I have local storage dot set item, let's set some item, for example, token as something like that. Okay, let's remove that. What I can do is just send like the whole local storage. Of course, I need to use it as json.stringify to translate it to JSON, because otherwise it's just a JavaScript object. As you can see, my token, I can do almost anything that with what I want with that page, because I can inject scripts. But what should we do as a web developer to protect our websites? First of all, you should not write in HTTP server, because again, that's a very low level server. And probably Django is written on top of that, Flask is written on top of that, and so on. So what we have is HTML escape characters. Let's go right here, and what we'll see is HTML escape characters, and as you can see, symbols. We have a lot of symbols in here, but what are the most crucial ones? The symbol of an opening tag. So opening tag, it's a less symbol. Then the symbol of closing tag. So the symbol the greater sign, less sign and greater sign. Okay, and what should we do? Instead of just storing like raw script, we'll store escaped characters. So what does that mean? If I'll go to my less sign, what I will see? I will see that character. So ampersand ls qo and semicolon. Let's copy that, or let's copy that, and instead of that we'll store not script, but we'll store that. So script, and then instead of greater sign, let's store that. Let's store that. Boom. That's actually how it works. But actually, I think these are not what I expected, because LTGT, I think we use it like that. And what will happen if I will put not just script, but I will put, let's remove that, but I will put script with LT and GT wrapped around it. Let's run it again. So again, I don't think that that website has what I want, because LSRQO is really strange to me. I thought it was ampersand LT, ampersand GT, that stands for lower than, greater than. Okay, so I sent my LTGT script wrapped, and when I'll go to comments, I'll see that that script shows script. What happened is that 5001, yes, let's send it again. Oh, so I can hang up. Yeah, I need to restart my server for some reason. Yeah, because we have key error. Okay. Key error, let's restart our server, and when I will send script ltgt, even if I put any script in here, so for example alert hello, and let's use script gtlt again, what I'll see on my front-end application is what happens. Text, key error text. Why do I have that error? Text equals, I actually don't know. Maybe it's because of this. Oh yeah, because again, ampersand in yeah, I should have gone with body. So what is the problem here? Ampersand sign in HTTP parameters means that you want to include an additional parameter, and because of that, it thinks that text is nothing. Then we have lt script, then we have gt alert, and so on. But what is the idea of these escaping characters? Instead of putting like the row less or more signs, I will put lt and gt, and just look at how it will react. So now I have ampersand lt and semicolon in here, but in body I can see that is a normal sign, a normal less than sign. If I put that to script, or as you can see script gt, oh, maybe it was saved, I don't know. So what is the idea of escaping characters? We put different characters to mimic the representation of the characters that we wrote initially. So in our case we use less than sign, but we actually use ampersand lt semicolon. That's how it works. And by the way, that should not be done in any HTTP request right here. Why? Because I can just avoid it. It should be done when you get any information from the user on your backend side. And that's how it works. So again, XSS attacks are very rare nowadays, but they can occur from time to time. And as a web developer, you need to know that you need to escape every character. By the way, do not escape like body, so what you send and what you intend to send, but escape everything that comes from your user, because it can cause some serious problems, like token stealing, and nobody will tell you about that because you don't have any notification, anything, if you send an XHR request to a different web server. So that's how XSS works. I hope you like it. Thank you for watching and good luck.